May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May we all be blessed with good health, long life, prosperity, wisdom, and peace. Dear friends, we all assembled from different parts of the world. And on this beautiful Sunday, we had a wonderful meditation conducted by Professor Akila, the coordinator of this program. Today, we have a special guest. We all always look forward to the Sunday evening to have a special lecture by some of the senior most persons in our system. And today, we are very lucky to have the coordinator for USA for WCSC, Mr. Murali Sreenivasan, Professor Sreenivasan. He is going to address us. I had a very long association with him. He's been there right from 2006. He has been responsible for opening centers in California and in many parts of USA. Later, he became the main coordinator, and with his team, they've been doing a phenomenal job in the United States of America. We have in the poster Vivekananda making a statement: 1 ounce of practice is worth 1,000 pounds of theory. Today, the topic is effective daily practice. He's not going to give a big lecture. He is going to discuss with you. He would like to have conversation with you. So he's very good at that. So today is an opportunity for all of you to interact with him. It's only on Sunday evenings that we are able to have question and answer session. And you got a right person. You can ask any questions. He'll be very happy to share his knowledge. Apart from doing so many things for our organization, he has also been closely associated with me joining the United Nations organization through the Economic and Social Council. So he was one of the active members in taking WCSC to UNO, which is one of the dreams of Maharishi. He has got so many other dreams as well. But right now, he's going to talk about effective daily practice. He's in a very senior position in a multinational company. But apart from being busy with that, he always takes time for WCSC. And anything about USA, all I have to do is to give a pick and he will get it done. So thank you, Murali, for joining us. I don't want to stand in between you and the enlightened audience. Please go ahead. Thank you, Murali.
Thank you, Aya. Those were very tall words. I'm not sure if I'm deserving of that. I am where I am today because of the mentoring and guidance I received from our respected senior professor Balachandran Aya and respected senior professor Jayanti Madam. So without any ado, let me get into the discussion. Let's see, we have around 26 people. So I'm sure most of you are graduating from the SKYONLINE courses or somewhere in the middle of it, right? So let's have a few quick random introductions, right? First, I think it's I know Aya introduced me, but I'll courteously introduce me as well. 2007 is when I started doing the Sky service. 1996 is when I started learning Sky when I was in college. In 98, I was fortunate to attend the Brahmanyanam conducted by our respected Guru, Sri Vethathiri Maharishi. I know we have several people. Baldev, where are you from, sir? And are you a SKYONLINE student? A little bit about you, quickly. Okay, maybe.
Baldev, could you unmute and speak? Okay, if not, yes. Murali, maybe you can ask somebody else.
Yeah, Smita Anand, I think I see you I've seen you previously. Where are you from, ma'am? Okay, maybe anybody that would like to, yeah, I see a hand raised. Where are you? Vidya Ravichandra, please go ahead. Hi Vidya,
Sorry,
thanks.
yeah, good evening, sir. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Okay, I've completed my foundation course
Okay,
and I have been in practice. So next month I'm just planning for the certification course.
okay, introspection. Okay,
Yes, sir. I'm actually waiting for it.
excellent. Okay,
Yeah, in fact, to be frank, my mom was in the Skype practice,
okay,
and that's how I was introduced to this. I used to see Mama practicing daily. I was in my schooling.
okay,
During school days, I saw her, meditating and all. That not that I did not know much about that, but I was always quite curious about meditation and all. And very frequently I used to see our Guru Vethathiri Maharishi. Like very frequently I have watched IS videos and quite felt very impressive about it. And that's where my curiosity began. And I just felt very strongly. I felt that I have to do so. Explore something, and I have to know something, learn something. And professionally, I'm a teacher. I work with
where are you
higher
located
grade
now?
students. Bangalore.
Bangalore. Okay, all right. I used to start I started my career there. Good to hear about your experience, and then any other few quick. I would like to understand the stages of our students, right? Any other students that
Yeah,
are willing to quickly?
yes, Murali, Smita, they were not able to unmute. Now you can try to unmute and you can speak.
Okay.
Smita, you can do that. Please unmute from your side.
I want to understand which stage you are in, so I can tailor my discussion to that.
Smita, can you please unmute from your side? Then only you can speak. Not able to do that, is it?
That's fine. Okay. All right.
They will try Baldev also again.
Just put your
Yes,
where
Baldev, you can speak now. Yeah.
Baldev is there.
Hi,
Okay.
sir. Moralization
Yeah.
of Desires.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my foundation course from earlier at Temple of Consciousness
Nice.
in
Okay.
October last year, and now I'm doing this online introspection course. We have completed 2 levels. Now I think the next level will be starting next week. The third
Excellent.
level.
Okay. So there are some people that have completed introspection as well. Good to know that. Alrighty, cool. Thanks, Baldev. Where are you located?
I am in Kerala.
You're in Kerala. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Kozhikode. Okay.
Yeah.
I was able to guess based on your accent, but good to confirm that. Thanks, Baldev. All right. Okay, cool. So let me kickstart this conversation, and then I'll ask a few more quick questions, flash questions, answer it really quickly, right? So let me share my screen here. All right. So okay, so the topic today we have is effective daily practice, right? So what does daily practice mean? Just unmute yourself and really quickly say a sentence. What does daily practice mean according to you? Oops.
You see, Murali, I think when they unmute, we have to unmute again. I'm
Can
not doing it.
can you not put it in anybody can speak mode?
Yeah, I am not the, who is the one who is controlling it? Is it Akilaji?
Yeah, I cannot have a conversation if if it's in lecture
It
mode.
has to be, I think you got to unmute everyone straight away so that they can just start speaking if they want.
Yeah, just regular Zoom meeting. Everyone can see my screen, I believe, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Daily practice in the sense, regularly you just, unlike you make a timetable and you do it at any cost, you would not miss it. And it becomes a, habit of yours.
Daily, you every day you do it and you don't miss it. It becomes a habit of yours. What do you do?
Yes.
What do you do, Vidya, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do you do?
I do regularly Kayakalpa yoga and meditation.
Meditation. Okay, all right. That is your daily practice. Okay.
Yes.
Anybody else? Anybody else? So essentially, you think you are doing a daily practice of yoga. You are referring to your daily practice of yoga, right? So if there is any other comments, please go ahead. Otherwise, I'll go. So, yeah, go ahead. Did anybody say something? Okay. All right. Daily practice of yoga, right? Let us take what our friend Vidya said, right? For me, whenever somebody asks me at work or somebody in my friend circle asks me, I would say, I do a daily practice of yoga. Okay, that's what I say as well, right? But let us think a little bit deeply about it, right? Daily practice of yoga, what does it mean, right? When we say I do daily practice of yoga, that means there is something called yoga that I do every day, right? So what is yoga, right? When you think about it, yoga, whenever you ask somebody out in the world, that means you go and ask somebody in the Western world, okay, some Caucasian, or in Europe, somebody, right, an European, or somebody that is not in India, right? The most likely answer you get is a funny, amused reply saying, hey, yoga means twisting your body in very difficult poses. That doesn't come to me, right? And even here within India, right? And many of you are from India, some of you are probably from outside India. Even within India, yoga has a common connotation that it is yoga asanas, correct? And even within Sky practitioners that are in this group, yoga, when we think yoga, immediate thing that comes to mind is, yes, I do exercises, also meditation, Kayakalpa, all those things, right? But in reality, when you think about yoga, what it means in the strictest form of definition, right, is yoga means it is connecting to your infinite potential. Yoga means union. Yoga means communion, right? Yoga means rising up and connecting to the infinite. Okay. That means yoga is connecting to your infinite potential, right? So in that context, okay, we are going to explore a daily practice of yoga, which means whatever you learned in terms of connecting, in terms of exercises, in terms of the practices that you do, also in terms of the knowledge that you gained or you're going to gain from your courses, right? And then putting it to use, okay? Let us take a broader perspective of what yoga means, right? So according to the wisest saints that sought to teach yoga from ancient times, yoga means it is a higher form of practice that you live life through. Okay, it is not just something you practice 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening, right? It is something that you align your life towards. Like when I said connecting to your infinite potential, we are living our day-to-day life, right? And we want to live our day-to-day life in alignment with the infinite potential that we have. Okay, so that means we need to gain understanding about that infinite. Okay, and then not just gain understanding, we should remember that understanding, okay, and never forget it. That is called awareness, and transform our life so that we are aligned, we are connecting to our infinite potential, not for 1 hour, not for 30 minutes, okay, but rather every minute of your life. So your life becomes enjoyable, where you realize your true potential. Okay, so this is the concept that we are going to explore today in today's class. Okay, now let us first understand. Let us first think about understanding. Okay, so the formula that we talked about is understanding, awareness, transformation, and then leading to enjoyment in life. Okay, because we all have come here because we want to get rid of some misery, get rid of some confusion in our mind. We want to gain clarity, and we want to enjoy life, right? Everything boils down to enjoyment in life, right? Enjoyment that is constant, right? So these are the key words that we are going to explore today: understanding, awareness, transformation, and enjoying life. Okay. Now, first, in terms of understanding, you're going to gain, okay, in the foundation course. Some of you have completed foundation course. Some of you already have completed 2 sets of introspection, right? So you would have gained a bulk of knowledge, right? Bulk of knowledge about life, bulk of knowledge about your mind, about nature, right? And you are in the process of gaining more, right, as you go through your courses, right? So let us discuss for the next few minutes about how whatever the topics you have learned in terms of understanding different things maps out to this context, the context where you align your day-to-day life by gaining understanding and living your day-to-day life in awareness and transforming it and enjoying life. Okay, so let us explore those topics in this context. Okay, first, understanding, right? Now let us think about a few things. Okay, I'm trying to move my screen here. Okay, so if you look at your present, right, in this I have given a graph. Okay, in our present situation, in modern times, right, how do we live our life, right? When we think about our life, we're all living our life with respect to why we are here in this life and how we are supposed to live our life. If you think about it, we just answered that question, right? We said our life is something that should be lived in a day-to-day manner, in a way that we are connected to our infinite potential and realizing that infinite potential and have a lot of successes and enjoyments in life. Okay, so that is what we just discussed, right? So, but if you close your eyes and think about the present circumstance that every modern human being in this modern generation is living, right? If you think about it, our life, is it connected to the infinite potential? Is it full of successes? Is it full of happiness and enjoyment? If you think about it, we have ups and downs in life, and both joys and miseries, right? And the amount of happiness and the amount of miseries, if you measure, and if you ask yourself the question, the majority of the answer that we tend to get in today's world is, the amount of happiness that I enjoy in life is kind of less, but I'm more miserable most of the times. And I'm having confusion, I'm having challenges, fear, anxiety, all sorts of issues. That is the life of a modern human being, right? And are we able to realize our true potential and live our life in a planned way, where we are able to do whatever it is that we want to do in our life, whatever achievements we want to achieve in our life, execute our plans? If you look at it, most of our day-to-day lives is based on doing whatever comes to mind, right? You are going about, you get up in the morning, you feel like drinking coffee, you drink it, right? You want to have a good breakfast, okay, dosa, roti, or whatever it is, okay, you have it. Okay, later on during the day, you feel like snacking, you snack. Okay, you want to watch a movie, you watch, right? So whatever comes to your mind, okay, in terms of impulses that direct you towards a happy situation, you follow that. Follow those cues in your mind, right? So this is what Maharishi calls as impulsive behavior. Okay, and most of us, we want to live a way of life where we are pursuing our true goals, our desires, right, in a desired manner, right? And then we want to experience, right, more joy and less misery, right? and we want to live our life in a manner of planned awareness, right? So this is the end state of yoga. Okay, so if you think about how we can achieve this, right? That is essentially the goal of realizing your true potential in life, right? Now, when you think about how this true potential can be realized, if you think about human beings, the reason we have the ability to live in planned awareness compared to animals is because we are bestowed with this special capability or special power or special instrument in us. Okay, all the animals have either one from somewhere from 1 sense to 5 senses, right? But for humans to realize our true potential, we have something called as sixth sense. We are bestowed with a special magical power or instrument called as sixth sense, according to Swamiji, right? So to realize our potential of success and constant joy in life, right, we need to make this instrument, sixth sense, function fully, blossom fully. Okay, now there's a problem with this, right? We don't know how to operate this instrument. Even though we are bestowed with it, half the time in our day-to-day life, we just established that our life is playing out impulsively, right? Whatever comes to mind, we act. We have a lot of plans. Like, for example, you might want to do a certification, you might want to go learn a new art, or you might want to clean the clutter in your home, right? But how many of us think about it? How many of us are able to accomplish whatever we want to do in our day-to-day life, right? We keep procrastinating. We keep going down whatever emotional indulgences that we have, and try to make our life happier, right? But if you really think about it, right, when we want to, when we have the sixth sense and we are not able to use it, how we use it is, Swamiji used to say, right, when you have a powerful instrument and you don't know how to use it, and you use it on the wrong things, right, the instrument will get spoiled, and whichever that you use the instrument on also gets spoiled, right? So in the case of our sixth sense, how we use it is, we have become more creative in the use of our 5 senses, right? We have different kinds of foods, pizza, different types of pizza, dosas, different types of dosas, different types of biryanis, right? Different types of sweets, right? And then movies, different types of entertainments, right? So like this, we are very creative in the use of our 5 senses, that we forget to use sixth sense how it is intended to be, right? A metaphor for this is, think about a really nice luxury car that you bought, okay, a powerful car that you bought, okay. You take a child and put the child in the seat of the car, right? And the child can only put the hand on the steering wheel and pretend like it is driving it, right? It cannot really drive the car. Okay? That is how we use the sixth sense. Okay, and then think about a razor blade, for example. You take a razor blade, okay, you put it on your face and try to shave your face, it'll do a really nice job. But the moment you try to use a laser blade to cut an apple, the razor blade will be gone, the apple will also be gone, right? So when you have a powerful instrument, you need to use it for its intended purpose, right? Now, in the case of our sixth sense, what we are doing is not using it for that intended purpose. So what we end up doing in our day-to-day life is, we end up damaging our mind, confusing our mind, and we are playing a child's play in our day-to-day life, right? We are damaging our life as well, because that is the object that we are using it on, right? So to realize how perfectly to use the sixth sense and make it blossom to its fullest potential should be the goal of our life, should be the ultimate goal of our life, according to Maharishi, because that is going to lead to you realizing your potential and achieving success and happiness. Okay, so this is the context of the daily practice that we do every day, okay, of understanding different things, different practices, functioning in awareness of those, and slowly, one by one, transforming your day-to-day activities, so you can change your impulsive behavior to planned awareness. Okay, that is the goal. Okay, the goal is to help realize the infinite potential by changing your impulsive behavior to planned awareness in your day-to-day life. Okay, that is what will be explained to you whenever you go through your introspection one, or if you already gone through it. This is what you would have learned as your purpose of life. Okay, any quick questions, feel free to open up and ask me. All right, now the next thing, okay, how do you nurture your sixth sense and help it blossom? Okay, now that we said that, we need to make our sixth sense function for us, so we can derive benefits from it, right? So how do you nurture your sixth sense and how do you help it blossom, right? In that context, Maharishi has explained the philosophy of life. Okay, that is what you will be learning, or you would have already learned. Okay, now in nurturing the sixth sense, there are three major challenges that Maharishi says has to be removed. Okay, the three major challenges is ego, sin imprints, and illusion. Okay, those are like weeds that you have to weed out from your mind for you to let your sixth sense blossom. Okay, again, this is something you would have learned. Ego means, right, we try to achieve satisfaction in life by identifying yourself with you, right? Like you are as a manager. I am this manager. I'm very proud that I'm this senior person in my company. I have so many people working for me, right? When you attach yourself to that boundary, that is ego, right? When you are attaching yourself to your name, your wealth, that is ego, right? So the problem with that is when you attach too much importance to who you are rather than your even more broadened potential, right? You become too self-important in a foolish manner, right? In that respect, you don't give respect to others, where you see others as inferior to you or superior to you, right? So in that respect, you might end up damaging others, damaging your relationship with others. But on the other hand, if you visualize yourself as part of the infinite and you operate with humility, then you will be able to exercise your relationship with humility and in the right manner, right? That is called awareness. Okay, so this ego and the resulting damage that stores in you as trauma, that is called sin imprints, right? And then the resulting illusionary way of life, confusing way of life, right, with which you live your life, right? Those things are essentially in the way of you realizing your infinite potential, in the way of you using your sixth sense fully. Okay, this is what Maharishi tells us, right? Now, how does the remedy, right? If you think about the remedy, then Maharishi says there are only two things. Every spiritual literature, every spiritual framework, every religious framework, okay, seeks to teach us this. Okay, there is in fact a Tirumular poem that I like to frequently quote. Piravi Peringadal Tiruru Thoni Ilaipinai Nika Iruvali Undu Tanakum Kilaikum Akedil Mudalvan Velaikum Tavam Aram Nalla Thunayame. Okay, so this Tavam means meditation, inner travel or prayer, and then Aram means virtuosity. Okay, virtuosity means Aram, Swamiji qualifies it as morality, duty, and charity. Think of it as best practices, right? Where you live a perfect, get a perfect knowledge of the truth, perfect knowledge of nature, mind, and the society, and how structuring your life in accordance with that, right? So these are the bottom line goals with which you fertilize your life. Okay, when you are able to start leading your life in accordance with this, then your life tends to acquire a purpose. The purpose of your life, you start realizing that in the right manner, right? And you start gaining a strategy for your life, a guiding policy for your life, right? But just meditation and virtuosity kind of, confuses us, right? Because they are such broad terms. Okay, meditation, yeah, I can do it. Virtuosity, what are the things I should do in your day-to-day life, right? For that, Maharishi gives us a very detailed framework that exactly tells us how to satisfy your basic necessities, your basic the needs of your day-to-day life, how to take your life to the next dimension by focusing on the sophisticated things that you need for your mind, right? So this essentially is I was teaching about this purpose of life to one of my classroom earlier this year, and the first question I got asked after discussing about connecting to your infinite potential, purpose of your life, all those things was, that is good, but for a person that doesn't know how to get his food tomorrow, he only has enough food for today, how would that matter? For a person that has lost someone, how would that matter, right? So life is full of different challenges, right? How do you deal with those different challenges, and how you take your mind in a guided path, in a structured path? That is what is this philosophy of life that you will learn in Sky philosophy, okay, that Maharishi has taught us, right? For example, take this, right? This hunger and thirst, right? He says there are 3 needs you have. Basic necessity like food and water you need, and then you need clothing to protect yourself from the cold or heat, and then shelter, and then you need a suitable life partner and hygienic needs. Those are basic needs. Everyone needs it. Until that is satisfied, nobody is going to think about infinite potential, right? Yeah, and then you are going to have challenges with respect to people trying to harm you, right? And then there are natural challenges, right? Accidents that people deal with, right? Losses that people deal with, right? Until that is smooth, you're not going to think about your virtuosity, integrity in life, best practices, right? So in that respect, you need to have a strategy for acquiring a basic social security, a basic security in life. Then think about the next stages of development. In management studies, this is also explained in something called Maslow's hierarchy, right? Some of you might have heard about it, right? So let us think about how you would use this purpose and philosophy of life in your day-to-day practice, and effectively form a life strategy for yourself, okay? So we said the vision for your life is a happy and inspired life connected to your infinite potential, right? So take a piece of paper, write it down, okay? This is my life strategy. I want to be happy and inspired, connect to my infinite potential, okay? Because you have the knowledge and understanding and reasoning on why this is important, right? And then the guiding policy we said is meditation and virtuosity, okay? So anything that you do in life, it's going to fall within these 2 categories, right? So write it down also, right? So your day-to-day decision making, your day-to-day life can be reminded by these guiding policies, right? Now, then you write down a detailed approach where you come up with your basic needs, your healthy life approach for your basic needs, right? So you come up with a diet plan. Morning, I'm going to get up and this is what I'm going to do, okay? And then I have the necessary shelter and clothing and everything for my protection from the climatic changes, or maybe I need this, right? And then your hygiene plan, right? So, and the same way, in terms of your protections, write down your relationship security plan and nature security plan, right? And then virtues, you would write down how you will develop your personality, your relationships, your approach to social service, so you align with morality, duty, and charity, okay? And then you come up with a plan for developing your knowledge and starting your transformation journey, okay? So in this manner, you will come up with a life, your life strategy, okay? Very, very easy. When you don't have this life strategy, don't have this life strategy, what you end up doing is you just keep thinking everything in your mind. On the fly, you make up decisions and you live life. And this life is what plays out as impulsive life, okay? But when you have a written down journal that kind of guides the day-to-day decision making every day, then that becomes a guiding policy, a life approach, a strategy that you take and live life. And Swamiji gives us the basic framework for forming the strategy tailored to your own needs, okay? So it's very, very easy. open up a document, basic needs. We talked about diet plan. Okay. So write down what are your preferences every day. I don't drink enough water. I want to make sure I drink 3 liters of enough warm water every day. My breakfast, I want it to be like this. I want to make sure I get my fiber, my veggies, right? And then my dinner, I want to keep it light or no dinner, whatever it is, right? So like this, you come up with your diet plan, your clothing plan, for example. Many of you have too much clothing and you don't feel good wearing some clothing, but still you hoard it, right? You keep it. So clean up your wardrobe, for example, and buy some good, nice clothes in the limited quantities. Okay, always have the right number of clothing, and then some of you may just be starting out in life, may not have a home. So make it a clean goal in life. I want to have my primary residence by a home. That is my priority, right? So like this, come up with a plan for your basic needs. Okay, that should be your guiding strategy for your day-to-day life until those basic needs are met and you're comfortable, right? Some of you may not be married. Okay, so I want finding a suitable life partner, my priority, right? And then other best practices around hygiene, for example, taking bath before sunrise. Some of you might be neglecting taking bath. Some of you might be neglecting brushing, right? So whatever it is that you know as best practices, write it down. Okay, let this policy guide your day-to-day decision making. And similarly, basic protections, right? You might have a current situation where you're having day-to-day fights with somebody. Daily, you might have conflict with somebody at your workplace. Daily, you might have conflict with somebody in your social circle, right? It might be a huge source of challenge for you in terms of that enmity between you and that other person, right? So make it your priority to either move away from this enmity or mend this conflict, right? So how do I make it your priority to come up with a plan to reduce this enmity, right? And then have general best practices for your protections, right? Always I practice respectfulness. So my relationships are devoid of enmity, right? And then I'm for protecting myself from natural disasters, I'm going to practice 5 elements Navagraha meditation every week, at least once. And I'm going to give myself protection frequently and before I go to any place, right? So like this, come up with the basic approach for your basic security, right? Then you might be, in terms of your virtues, right? You might be having certain challenges related to food habits, or certain challenges related to your personality, like more integrity needed, or more respectful needed in your relationships, right? More dignity needed, right? So write it down and write down your guiding approach or specific area of weaknesses that you need to address around your morality or your duty or charity, okay? And then also, in addition, write down what is my learning goals for understanding the spiritual truth. What is my practice goal for my daily meditation, exercise practices, okay? And then come up with your life strategy, right? This is how you understand philosophy of life and use it in your day-to-day life. Practice it in your day-to-day life. So daily practice of yoga doesn't mean just blindly trying to do exercise and meditation and Kayakalpa, but rather those are tools to develop awareness and understanding, to go on a path of transformation. So you go from one dimension in life to the next dimension where your life becomes comfortable without challenges, more comforts. Okay, so that is why Maharishi said Sky Yoga is not a path of just listening to lectures. It's not a Bodhanai Margam. It is a Sadhanai Margam. That is why he said, little bit of practice will take you a long way by changing your life, elevating your life from one basic dimension to the next dimension. Okay, this is the basic lesson you would have learned. Okay, if you would have Baldeva, he said, I went through introspection 1 and 2. You would have learned the first 2 topics. You would have learned is purpose and philosophy of life. Just with those 2 topics, see how much you can accomplish, right? Without this, without writing this down and looking at it every day night, tomorrow I'm going to, this is my plan, my diet plan. This is exactly what I'm going to do. It'll take you 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to probably write it down for the first time. And then every day, this will take 5 minutes to look at and adjust for your day, tomorrow's plan, right? And you might even reflect on some things. Did I actually practice my meditation? Did I actually do my exercises? Maybe I failed here. Tomorrow I need to be careful and not fail here. Just reminding yourself for 5 minutes every day evening will make sure tomorrow you'll do it. Okay. Otherwise, you will constantly feel like, if you don't have this approach, you'll constantly feel like, I'll do it tomorrow, and then you go there, same impulsive behavior will take effect. You will live your morning throughout the night, it's the same impulsive way of life, and end up feeling guilty at the end of the day. I didn't accomplish much. But when you write it down for 15 minutes and then practice reminding yourself for 5 minutes and fine-tuning it every day, okay, the next day becomes so easy, and you gain so much benefits with this 5 minutes of investment. Okay, so this is what Maharishi seeks to teach us in terms of practice. Okay, any questions? Okay, I hope I didn't put everyone to sleep, but let us proceed. Okay, this is the philosophy of life. This is the life approach that Maharishi seeks to teach us. Vidya, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Vidya is asking a question. Yeah.
Yeah, and if there is any question in the chat box, please, sir. You
Vidya,
can
please unmute. You can speak. Unmute and start speaking.
How much time do I have, Aya?
Yeah, we can go 7:30.
Can you? Yeah, yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sir, could you please explain, quite in detail about this morality and about virtues, morality, duty, and charity? Could you take one simple example so that you can connect all the three?
Sure. Thanks for asking the question. Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir. Thank you.
when it comes to morality, for example, right? So, simple thing, for example, let's go back to my to the example right up here, right? Your simple morality means not hurting yourself or others, presently or in the future, right? That is morality, right? So, if, for example, you are eating junk food, that means you're hurting yourself, right? And you're feeding junk food to your family, that means you're hurting your family, right? Simple example. And then in Patanjali's in the standard Yoga Sutras, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, there are yamas and niyamas. Many of you might have heard about it. Do's and don'ts. Okay, so for example, one of the thing is ahimsa in that. Okay, ahimsa means non-violence. How do you practice non-violence? Okay, when you enter into a conflict situation, okay, you don't have to necessarily, when there is a conflict or argument, you don't have to necessarily shout at the other person and hurt the other person, even though the other person is wrong, right? You can disagree in a dignified manner. That is ahimsa. Okay, even though the other person disrespects you, you can take it and disagree in a dignified manner, ahimsa, right? And then even when you are parenting, okay, you can discipline your child with firmness and sternness without violence, right? That is ahimsa, right? And integrity, for example, right? So anything that hurts, stealing from others, right? In subtle ways, right? That you're causing damage, right? Causing damage yourself and others, right? So these all fall under morality, okay? And then duty is whenever you have to do certain things, helping with family, for example, helping with the dishes, or helping with cleaning at home, helping with cleaning clutter at home, right? Instead of burdening your life partner with everything, right? Duties, right? So these are all best practices that you can bring in your life so you can avoid conflicts, so you can avoid challenges, right? Charity is bringing in more value to yourself. Okay, more value means more satisfaction, right? Feeling confident of yourself, right? By being more magnanimous, by doing something for society. So the society is enriched, right? And you gaining more respect, right? Because of that high path that you have taken, you being a role model, right? So all that comes under developing virtues, and all these fall somewhere between morality, duty, and charity. Okay. Now, understanding means, okay, without understanding, you cannot go. Understanding is like a map. Okay, without the map, you cannot go to the right path, right? So understanding is whatever you are doing right now is understanding, right? Learning, okay, learning about your mind, about your about society, about nature, right? That is understanding, right? And then understanding alone is not enough. You need the strength of your mind, the strength of your body. That is where the spiritual practices come. Okay, only that leads to transformation, permanency in transformation, also called as sublimation. That leads to realization. Okay, a realized way of life that is in connection with your infinite potential. Okay, now going back, now when you are starting to implement your life, okay, very important thing that you need to watch out for in your daily practicing of this life, this this good way of life is you forget. Okay, when you forget, that means you are losing awareness. Okay, so how do you not forget? That is bringing in awareness, right? So this awareness, bringing awareness involves spending your energy wisely. Okay, and most importantly, avoiding slippery slopes. Okay, let us explain. Let us explore this a little bit. Okay, spending your energy wisely means, okay, you get people that when you're young, okay, you might be able to indulge in everything, eating food and watching a lot of movies, binge watching a lot of movies, right? And doing whatever it is that you like, impulsively like, to bring happiness and bring a lot of emotional enjoyments, right? But the moment you start doing that, whatever you had planned for that day, for that year, for that month, okay, you may not have achieved it. Okay, so you might have said, okay, I want to do this certification, I want to learn this knowledge, I want to do these certification exams, I want to do these, I want to have these health goals, so I go to this next stage of life next year, right? When you have all these goals and you still indulge in all these impulsive things like food or entertainment or whatever it is, right? All the goals that you had, they just remain goals. Okay, and for us that are in the middle ages, right, you might have some set of goals for your day-to-day life. For example, I want to clean my closet, I want to do some gardening work, or I want to spend certain things, forming an investing plan, for example, right? All these important things for your life you might have, but morning you get up, you feel like eating some nice greasy food, puris or whatever it is. Afternoon you eat like, want to go to nice restaurants and eat some good indulging food, biryanis or whatever it is. Imagine what happens. Your energy goes down in the body and you spend your day napping, and you spend your day in a very lazy and dull mood, right? So by making an impulsive choice, you went down a slippery slope where you went into a dull, lazy mode for that day. Tamas, they call it, right? The tamas personality you go down into. Okay, so on that day, if you look at your day, you would not have achieved much. Okay, so similarly, if you got into an argument with somebody, okay, you become angry with somebody, you criticize somebody, somehow your life partner, you criticize your life partner, there is an argument back and forth, right? What happens on that day? There is a huge argument, you insult your life partner insults, and the entire day you're thinking about that conflict, and you go back to your indulgences to forget about that, to deal with that stress. Okay, and you watch your movie or whatever it is, and you go down that slippery slope. Whatever you had planned on that day, you don't achieve. So these are the things that you need to avoid. Swamiji says, energy, whenever we have energy in our body, right? Biomagnetic energy that you would have learned, right? Whenever we build the biomagnetic energy after sleep, right? There is enough energy to be spent. Immediately it goes to the usual place where it is spent. Your tongue, your eyes, okay, or your mind, your thinking part of the brain that engages in loose talk, that criticizes others, comments on others, demands things from others, expects the world to be the way you want, right? When you go down to the when your energy goes to the doorstep of the usual doorsteps, quickly you spend it when you're impulsive. But when you don't forget how you wanted to spend your energy and you avoid these slippery slopes, then, right, you are able to avoid these slippery slopes and achieve whatever it is that you wanted to achieve for your progress to the next dimension. Okay. For this, you want carefulness. This is what Swamiji calls as limit and method. Okay. Make the right quality decisions. Don't overindulge in something. Enjoyment is okay, right? Listening to music is fine. Okay. But if you listen to loud jamming rock music, that is sudden burst of energy, for example, that you're spending. Your mind is engaging in aggressive spending of energy, right? So indulgence is fine. Having nice quality food and enjoying the food in that limit is fine. The moment you eat aggravated spicy food, it aggravates and aggressively spends your energy, right? So whenever the quality and the quantity are overshot, then you're aggressively spending the energy and going down a slippery slope. And the planned action needed to elevate your life to the next dimension is not possible. This is why Swamiji says limit and method. Many of us hear this word limit and method, say, yeah, okay, I'll implement it. Okay. And we forget about it. We keep going down the slippery slope of not following limit and method. Okay. So by having this life approach, and by living your life in reminder of this, you develop awareness, avoid slippery slopes. Every day night, every day evening, before you go to sleep, you plan your next day using the life approach. Okay, and not only that, you transform yourself by some of the practices that you are learning, that you are going to learn. Right? What is the most important practice that you're learning? Introspection practices. Right? What do you want to do? Through introspection practices, you want to neutralize your anger. By neutralizing your anger, you want to remove hatred from your mind. You want to introduce love, right? And then you want to eradicate the inefficiency, right? And fear, and bring efficiency, skill of action inside, right? Just the first two statements, let us explore, right? Again, very easy to explore, very easy to implement this in your day-to-day life, right? So you will just have a journal, a diary, digital or paper diary, right? One of the things that you will learn in moralization, in desire, introspection is moralization of desires, right? Have this desires and eliminate unwanted desires. Whittle it down to just 3 or 4, okay? That you focus one thing at a time, right? Many of us have conflicting things. While you want to achieve a higher position in your career, for example, you also want to start a business. Okay, while you have some duties currently in this present time within your family, you also want to travel, right? So conflicting desires. So make sure you clarify your desires and say, these are the practical desires possible during this year. Okay, have that. And then anger, for example, right? Whenever you have somebody that you are in conflict with, right? Open up a diary and then say, what is my relationship to that person? Why am I getting angry? Okay, what is the mistake that I'm doing? My share in it, right? I'm losing my control, right? In the past experiences, because I lost my control, there was no benefit. And as a result, I'm going to have dignified behavior. Remind yourself about this thing, right? So like this, start journaling. Okay, start journaling. When you start journaling, then automatically you will be able to remove hatred and bring in love and dignified behavior in your day-to-day life. And you will get rid of resentment and hatred. Okay, and then by streamlining your desires, for example, you are able to deal with stress, because too many desires and goals, right, lead to too many unaccomplished desires and goals. As a result, you breed inefficiency in your mind, right? So as a result, anxiety and fear comes in, right? So by having certain set of efficient goals that you can easily achieve. And by dealing with your stress through eradicating your worries, right, you can bring in efficiency in your action. Okay. The bottom line goal of daily practice of yoga is to be said to go from impulsive behavior, which leads to stress and anxiety, to planned awareness, which leads to more efficiency and resulting in more things getting accomplished, right? So that is called skill of action, the skill of how to live life, right? So if you're able to follow this approach, structured approach, you will be able to have a daily effective practice of how to live life. Okay, so effective practice means practicing living life. One more thing that is very important in life, right? Relationships. We all end up damaging our relationships, right? So that is where Swamiji says, don't criticize others, don't command or demand, don't avoid commenting, commanding and demanding. Build more tolerance, adjustment and sacrifice, right? So in your introspection, reflect on this. Today, my command, demand reflection. Who did I comment on it? Who did I command on? What was the result? Reflect at the end of the day. Was I more tolerant? Was I more adjusting and sacrificing? Whenever there was a conflict, you would find that you broke one of these principles, right? So when you reflect every day like this, okay, after practicing your daily meditation, okay, after practicing your exercises every day, okay, by bringing in more health, right, by bringing in more mental awareness, when you practice these things every day, right, and reflect on it every day, automatically you'll see that you're on a path to transformation. You are bringing in more harmony to yourself, to your family and friends. You're bringing in, your energy will be abundant. The strength of your thought force will be very high. Whatever you think, you'll be able to accomplish. Whatever you think, you'll be able to attract also, right? So this is essentially a life practice that is based on a 360-degree understanding and awareness of Sky Yoga. Okay, an effective daily practice of this understanding and awareness will help you transform your life from one dimension to the next dimension. Okay, there you will be able to connect, slowly start connecting, establishing a stronger and stronger connection to your infinite potential, and increase your skill of life, increase your efficiencies in life. As a result, derive whatever it is that you want to derive out of your goals, right? Make it more enjoyable, more successful, right? So this is a effective daily practice of life. When we think about daily practice, yes, exercises are very, very important. Meditation, most importantly, right? Our guiding policy, we said, is meditation and virtuosity, right? But without virtuosity, without a transformation, just meditating every day is going to make you a frustrated person, right? Without addressing this transformation, your daily meditation, you'll be sitting in meditation, you might be feeling good during that 30 minutes. But even during those 30 minutes, your meditation will be constantly bubbling up with different thoughts, different anxieties, different conflicts. For your meditation to become better and better, you need to go through this transformation, right? So, and that meditation, Swamiji says, should be on the divine. That is why Swamiji says, Turyadidam is the mother of all meditations. Okay, so every day you keep practicing, training your mind on the universe and the absolute. Okay, don't just practice 5 minutes Agra and 5 minutes Turyam and go away without doing all these things. Okay, when you do those things every day, you'll sit in meditation. That 5 minutes and maybe a little bit after that will give you some good benefits. But for you to go from one dimension to the next dimension, where your life acquires more, where you become more powerful in life, where you become more successful in life, okay, you need to elevate your meditation experience by transforming. By meditating, you accelerate your transformation even further. By complementing, one through another, you are able to achieve this permanent transformation called sublimation by our Swamiji. That only will lead us to realization. Okay, so this is very, very easily done. A 15-minute practice every day, and remembrance and a discipline, a willingness to reflect and correct yourself easily in your day-to-day life. Okay, this correction is very, very easy if you reflect and plan. Many of us fail in planning and reflecting. We just think we can wing it, we can do it all in our mind. As a result, our life is impulsive, fluctuating between goodness and badness, happiness and misery, right? So try this in your day-to-day life, then your practice will be effective. Okay, I'll stop here. We can have conversations now. There was Vidya. Did you have a question?
Vidya again has got a question. Yes,
Sir,
Vidya, you
could
can.
You're my
could
savior today. Vidya. Thanks.
yeah, it was really wonderful sessions. Were very informative. In fact, even a second was was really precious. I felt. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. And my request, could you please share this PPT in chat box, sir? So that those mind maps are really beautiful, very simple to understand.
I will share it. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, Aarti, you can speak.
Hello, sir. I'm Aarti. Just a brief introduction about myself. I just attended the foundation course and completed it in Tamil. So I have no idea about introspection, but your session today got me so interested to know more about the concepts of introspection.
Aarti, you went on mute actually.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So today's session was very interesting and it got me interested to know and attend the course on introspection. So I have a question, sir. I have no idea about the other concepts, but my question based on today's session is, when you have different set of goals, like in personal life, you have a goal, professional life, you have a goal. So how do we make a plan of it and, not get overwhelmed by too many goals in life, sir?
So some of your goals might fit within that life approach, right? The philosophy of life framework that we learned, right? But many of your goals might fit within your desires, okay? Moralization of desires, right? So and I don't know if you have completed your introspection course 1. There, when you learn moralization of desire, right? You want to list out all your goals in life, right? It might be small desires, or it might be overarching desires in your life that are more like life goals, right? And the most important thing is compartmentalizing and breaking it down, right, into realistic pieces, realistic intermediate milestones, right? And then focusing on one thing at a time. This month, this is my goal, right? This year, these are my goals, right? So coming up with the roadmap, right? And not worrying about things that are beyond your reach currently, right? Reaching out to the next immediate goal and focusing on one thing or a few things at a time. Okay, that is the successful approach for your goals, Aarti. Okay.
Okay.
Follow-up question? Any follow-up question there?
No, sir. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So when you attend introspection 1, moralization of desires, pay attention to it, right? Just follow that in a document, in a journal that you do every day. Okay.
Okay.
And immediately you will put your anxiety about your goals to rest. Spending the 10 minutes puts your anxiety to rest. The moment you say, I learned this introspection, nice lecture, I'll do it in my mind, then you're gone. Okay. But the moment you start journaling, it comes handy. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Yes, Murali, I think a lot of positive comments people have been giving in the chat box. It's been a wonderful presentation. Simple ways to transform your life. That's what exactly Murali has done. Most of us don't write it. He says, just put it in writing. That's it. Even to go to a shop, suppose you go without a shopping list. Out of 8 items, you forget 3. Isn't it? Now, what about your life? So don't make that mistake. Don't think that everything we can work on brain without writing. Just put it down and then see how much progress has been happening, where you went wrong. That will make slowly you will be able to reach all your goals in a very, very simple and straightforward way. Thank you, Murali, for an excellent presentation and giving a very, very practical way of leading a very fruitful life.
Sure thing. Yeah, there's one magical thing that you all need to realize, right? Many of us deal with the relationship conflicts in life. Moment you have a angry argument with someone in the morning, okay, during the day, you will not forget that argument. The other person will not forget that insult. Okay, you guys keep thinking about it until you go to sleep. Sleeping is like meditation, right? That clears that somehow. The next day morning, again, you remember that conflict will keep on going. Okay, this contributes to so much stress, so much wastage of good space in your brain. Okay, so instead of waiting until you go to sleep, if you meditate in the middle, okay, you might immediately be able to get away from the conflict and have the same effect as going to sleep, right? And stop thinking about it for some time. Even that is only partially effective, meditating. But you meditate and then write down a journal using the framework that Maharishi has given us based on neutralizing anger, right? And write down, why did I get into this argument? What is my share in it? Okay, why did I go down the slippery slope? Hereafter, I'll have this remedy, maybe apologize, or maybe avoid it in the future. And hereafter, I'll have a dignified response, right? And even if the other person is wrong, I'm going to be more dignified and avoid that conflict. Just write it down. You will see that gives you a more permanent relief from that stress, from that anxiety, and even helps you avoid a similar situation in the future, long-term remedy. Okay, so such a magic this practice that Maharishi has given us works. Okay, all right. Anyways, I felt like adding that one point. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Some people wanted your number without your permission. I've given that.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah,
Yes.
Ayya, people like Ayya and I, we have a commitment. We always are ready to talk to people. So feel free to call me anytime or message.
Thank you, Murali. It's been
very nice to meet everyone. Yeah, and I know there were some technical challenges, but in terms of being able to converse, but I'm sure the information was effective. Let us continue the conversation offline if you are interested. And wish you all good and happy practicing, and wish you all wish everyone elevates your life and realizes the true benefits of Sky Yoga that many of us know to be true. And best wishes. Be blessed by the divine.
Thank you once again. We'll conclude this session with this and be ready for next Sunday's lecture. And every day, morning and evening, we are meeting for group meditation. So let us continue this journey. Let more and more people come and join in this. Thank you all. We conclude this session. Be blessed by the divine.